Hello everyone and welcome back to our autumn course update. For those that don't know me, my name is Mike and I'm the General Manager of Reigate Golf Club, and we're making you a second edition video here to take you around the golf course and show you the salient points we're working on, to give you an update of what's to come this autumn, how we're preparing for winter and any bigger projects we're moving forward into next year with. So I'm here on the beautiful 14th hole. You'll see I'll take you down there and show you what's going on, but give you a lovely view off the tee on this absolutely glorious autumn day. And yeah, hope you're going to find what I've got to say interesting and keep this golf course moving forward for each and every one of you. Let's go and have a look at it. Right guys, here we are down at the start of the 14th fairway, and I just wanted to take a small moment just to address the damage and the GUR that we've got down the right hand side of the hole. Unfortunately, the weather turned against us the week we were having the heavy machinery do the gabion and lake work. As a result of that and the extra rain that we had, the heavy machinery has rutted the right hand side of the hole. Disappointed that that's happened, however, you can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs, and so we do need to get this fixed. So this work will be repaired. Greenkeepers are going to be working their way this week and next week back with the digger, scraping this back to get the ruts levelled. We will then need to put some topsoil and seed down, and so this area will remain GUR for the winter, because I do not anticipate enough grass growth coming back probably before spring, in all honesty. So bear with us, please be patient. We will get this hole, I know it's a signature hole on the golf course, we'll get this hole back in perfect working order for you, probably at the start of next season. So please be patient, but I'll walk you down now to the 14th green and show you how we've got on with the actual main gabion project and give you the full update down there. Right, moving on as promised, continuing down the right hand side of the 14th hole. The rut marks we've just talked about, we're only fixing up until, if you just want to spin their cam with the camera, we're only fixing up until these willows. What I've made the decision to do from there is actually put a pathway in down the right hand side of this hole. It wasn't anything that we were initially planning to do, wasn't anything that we discussed, but having come out here to observe and analyse the damage and how we could put it right, it suddenly dawned on me, with a recommendation from Callum, I have to say, it dawned on me that we basically already had track marks down the right hand side that kind of resembled a path. And so with this being a typically wet hole, I took the advantage to get the greenkeepers, whilst repairing it, to actually just go full on, as you can see here, and start to put a pathway in down the right hand side. This will allow people better walking in winter. It might allow anyone that's on a personal mobilised scooter, or in fact the buggies, to be able to get around the golf course just that little bit easier, that little bit longer. It will certainly allow greenkeepers more free access with their machinery and stuff like that. So in the coming weeks, you're going to see the greenkeepers start to finish in this path. I don't think it'll be 100% finished before the winter, but it certainly will have a decent stone topping on it that will get us through. But this is an example of taking a negative and certainly turning it into a positive, that we're going to have a much improved 14th hole here, where you'll get onto this path about 20 yards short of the original ditch, and you won't need to get off the path again until you walk onto the 16th fairway. So slowly but surely, building up this path network around the golf course is really going to help year-round play. Okay, here we are guys, up by the 14th green, and I just want to show you the white germination sheets are in place, which means that the grass has been sown, project is complete, and we're just waiting for nature to take its course and now get some grass growth. The gabion project that we put in place, we decided to go for relatively late in the day. It was a big financial decision for us, and we needed to reinforce the bank here along the 14th green, as too much of it was falling away over the years and it was compromising the potential safety of the green, and we certainly didn't want any of the green disappearing into the lake. So we made the call to go for it. We are over the moon with the result. It looks aesthetically amazing, I think you'd agree. From the other side of the lake, playing your approach shots over, it's going to be a standout. I know at the moment it's a little bit of an eyesore with the orange netting, etc. But once this project is complete, we're going to have a beautiful grass right up to the edge, a nice sharp edge up to the gabions, and then there will be a little bit of a drop off into the water. But what an absolutely stunning hole, and we've done a wonderful job of fixing a practical problem with a really aesthetic solution here, guys. So we feel that we've really spent the money well, upgraded the hole, and this is now going to be one of the standout approach shots probably in the county, in my opinion, but hopefully you'll all agree with me that big improvements to the 14th green. Right guys, moving on now up to the 16th, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a project update here. The last time we spoke, I was telling you about the plans for the ditch network, etc. Well, that work has now been carried out and complete. A fantastic job by the greenkeepers. So this this hole now, the fairway, is very much like the 14th. It's a bit of an island fairway, which means that no water can run off anywhere around it and get onto the fairway to make it wetter. So the only water that can get onto the fairway now is what drops out of the sky. So very much hoping that this fairway is going to benefit from that. But particularly around the green complex, just what I wanted to talk to you about. We've successfully taken out the two bunkers that I say were greenside, even though they were probably 20 yards short of the playing surface. We've taken out two bunkers that were not in particularly good condition, and we now have this lovely meandering ditch that cuts off across the front of the hole. I think it presents a wonderful golfing challenge now. For the longer hitters, it's certainly given them something to think about in terms of going for the green potentially, and for the shorter hitters, they really need to make a decision on laying up or going for it as well. But as this ditch comes across, I wanted to talk to you guys. We've got a couple of small little pedestrian bridges that we put in place to the left and to the right. They're more sort of practical bridges. We did have a comment on the last video from Roger Young, who really made me think about we could make this a little bit of a signature feature. So I've instructed the ditch to be made a little bit wider in the centre of the green here, to allow us to build a slightly better and more aesthetically pleasing sort of showpiece bridge, as it were. So in the middle of the area here, I will point to the corner up here. I will insert a picture of roughly in my mind's eye what this bridge will look like. It won't be anything massive, so please don't be thinking big Swilkin Bridge at St Andrews or anything, but we will be putting a nice stone-faced bridge in, and we're going to utilise some of the stone from the gabions that we've got left over, guys. So this won't happen this side of Christmas, but certainly next year we will look to get the guys in, and we'll have a lovely little bridge here that will make this 16th hole stand out with a nice signature little bridge. Great suggestion from Roger, thank you so much. It just shows you make the right comment at the right time, and I do listen to it, guys. So keep the comments coming, keep the ideas going. Any good ones will certainly take into advisement and get actioned. But 16th hole, massive improvements with the germination sheets off, nice green, nice grass growth before the winter. And we've turned one of the weaker holes into hopefully what's going to be one of the stronger, certainly better approach shots on the golf course. Right guys, on to the closing hole of the golf course, the 18th. And I just wanted to address the drain lines on the fairway that we've got. You'd have seen certainly some GUR going there. It's bugged me for a long time, this hole. It's probably one of the worst fairway surfaces on the golf course, and as your closing hole it leaves a bad impression on the golf course as you come off. So this fairway here, from sort of 160, 170 yards out, is very sunken with the drain lines, and so I've instructed the greenkeeping team to try and top these drain lines up so we can start to get a better surface of the fairway. You'll also see here where I'm standing, we've got an interceptor drain right here. There's a low spot on the fairway here which traditionally and historically floods in the winter, so we've tapped straight into that and actually trenched in a new drain line down there as well. So these will take a little bit of time to grass over, guys, so again please be patient with us. It's all here to try and keep this closing hole drier and better and more playable for you year round. And then as we walk a little bit further down, you'll just see where we've simply tried to top up these drain lines at the moment to get some better surface level, so when we cut the grass we've got a better closing fairway for you all. It will take a couple of efforts, guys, because obviously the sand and the soil will mix and move around a little bit, so we might need to come back and revisit this a little bit in the future. But yeah, the end goal here is to get a fairway that's nice and smooth, nice and striped, and is a very, very good closing hole on our 18th. Okay, here we are on the 9th, on the left-hand side of the 9th to be specific. And I just wanted to take a little bit of time just to talk about some of the ditches we got on the golf course. Obviously, we're putting in more and more ditches, and I hear feedback from the members concerned about these ditches. Now, firstly, some members talk about not being able to play out of the ditch. Well, firstly, in my opinion, a ditch is a hazard or a penalty area on the golf course, and much like the lake in front of the 14th green, you wouldn't get your ball back out of that. So in my opinion, a ditch is there as a functional drainage part of the golf course. It's also a challenge and an obstacle, and so please guys, be mindful that if your ball does go in the ditch, it is a penalty, and you're not necessarily expected to be able to play out of it. If you can, I would say you're lucky and take advantage of that. But certainly the ditches that we do have, we want to be presented well. And just you'll see in the backdrop here, this one on the left-hand side of the 9th is currently not presented that great. And so I've spoken to Neil, head greenkeeper, and the team will be working their way around, making sure that anything that shouldn't be in a ditch comes out of it. So you can see the backdrop here, the thistles and the nettles and other weeds and stuff like that. That all needs to come out. That will help our water flow to make it more efficient, but it'll also help the aesthetic presentation of the golf course and give you a fair chance of actually getting the golf ball back out of the ditch should it go in it. And so any reeds or rushes or anything like that, that is a water plant, and if it looks aesthetic, that'll stay in the ditch. But anything that's not and shouldn't be there, i.e. weeds, nettles, thistles, they will be coming out, guys, to keep the presentation of the golf course tip top. Right guys, on the first green here, just wanted to talk about the upcoming green renovations that we've got. I think they're taking place on Monday and Tuesday, I want to say the 5th and 6th of October. And there won't be anything too major, but they're just our autumn renos to get us ready for the winter. Again, give us an opportunity to get some air and some sand and good drainage channels into the greens. At the same time, I just want to bring your attention to some of the disease that you will see at this time of year on the greens. You will see little patches like this. On some of the greens. Some greens are worse affected than others. The first green where I am here is actually not too bad, but these little spots here are a combination of Fusarium and anthracnose. Two very, very common diseases that are very typical at this time of year. They enjoy the atmospheric conditions, the early morning dew, all of that leads to high disease pressure. So with that in mind, the team have been very proactive, very early mornings, getting out here and spraying to keep it under control. So nothing to panic about at all, guys. We're aware of it, we're on top of it. Hopefully it will be kept at bay, and then the renovations that we do will help get some fresh seed and sand into the greens and keep them in tip-top condition for you for winter golf. Okay, 9th tee here, guys, and just a very quick one. Just wanted to bring your attention to the mats. As we are looking ahead to winter, it's typically sort of November, December time that we put the grass tees to bed and we move on to the mats for winter play. We do this, it's very important for us. We've got very small teeing areas at this golf course, and so to help maintain the playing surface and the playing quality of those tees for the summer season, we do move to the mats. We do try and keep the mats in high quality as possible, which is why I've instructed the team just to work our way around, remove any weeds and get these mats ready for winter play. So when you do come to use them, your experience of playing off a mat is as good as it possibly can be, guys. I know it's not quite the same as turf, but I do personally feel that it's better to play off that in the winter and that it is overused and ruin the grass turf to make sure it's tip-top for summer conditions. But yeah, we're on top of winter mats and make sure these are as good as they can be. Right guys, here we are on the 6th tee. Just giving you a quick update on the tees. The tees have taken an awful lot of stress this summer. We've struggled with the water, with the rain, as you well know. The irrigation system that we've got, and we've had to preserve water from the lake, so we've not been able to go down with as much water as we'd have liked. So consequently, certain tees have definitely struggled, and I'm sure you'd have noticed that. So with that in mind, going into winter, we're giving the tees a little bit of a refurb this week. You'll see here where I'm standing, we've actually cored the tees. This is to help break down a waxy layer, really open up a lot of aeration and give us somewhere to put some sand and seed to get some life back into these while we've still got some growing conditions. So perfect week for it, perfect weather. We're going to get these tees back in action for you guys. Right guys, just wanted to record a little bit for you here, just give you a little bit of information, an update on some of the pathways around the golf course. You will have seen over the last 12 months we've done an enormous project of improving pathways, particularly around the front 9 holes, improve your walking year round. I'm standing here on the pathway that leads towards the 14th fairway. This is one of the worst conditioned paths, guys, and so these are the ones I wanted to address with you. We've got pathways, particularly sort of on the 12th, 13th and 14th holes that are not in the best condition. These are due within the next 12 to 24 months to have a complete refurb, a lot like the fronts on the front 9 have. However, I've instructed the team to try and recover them as best as possible heading into winter. Because obviously in winter on these closing holes, these pathways are very, very important walking for everybody. And so I've asked the greenkeepers to try and keep them as wide as possible. You'll see weeds on them and stuff like that. Like I said, they're not looking too great, but the weeds have been sprayed, they're dying off, they will be gone ahead of the winter. So I just wanted to let you know that we are aware of it, we are on top of it, and we're going to try and make these paths as good as possible. One note on the pathways. I know in my last video I spoke about the pathway next to the 7th tee. And our intention to get that done this autumn for you. Unfortunately, I've had to bump that project until next year, largely due to the works, or entirely due to the works in fact, to the right hand side of the 14th hole. This was not a project that we'd foreseen, and we certainly had anticipated the wet and the ground conditions and the damage that the 14th hole has taken. And so that's become a top priority to get our signature hole back in top order. And so I have, as a result, with manpower constraints, had to bump the 7th tee project to next year, guys. So sorry about that slight delay, but again, I hope you think that the 14th hole, once done, will be that complete standout, and that the pathways you've got for the winter are as good as they possibly can be in every area possible. Okay guys, here we are in front of the lake on the 14th. The reason I'm telling you about this is I just want to talk about the completion of the borehole project. Now that was done and completed, I think, the very last week of July. So the borehole, the good news is it's successfully operating, and we're able to extract water from it as required. We do have a limitation on the borehole. We can extract 20,000 litres a day. Typically in the winter we will not need it on, so as of right now we do not have the borehole on, but it's operational anytime we need it. I want to manage expectations with the borehole. Because of the limitation of the 20,000 litres a day, to give you an idea, in peak summer when we're irrigating at full tilt, greens, tees, approaches, etc., we can sometimes take 100,000 litres a day out of that lake. So if we're only able to refill 20,000 litres a day, we are still losing some water on that. So I don't want people's impressions and understanding to be that that lake is going to stay brimmed full year round. For that to happen, we'd need a little bit of help from the natural elements, rain, etc. But the borehole, as soon as we start extracting water, so normally sort of April time, we can start putting water back. And so we don't expect to run into any irrigation problems. It will allow us to continue to irrigate all areas of the golf course, which will certainly help areas such as the tees this year, which we're having to refurb at the moment due to the drought. But I do expect the levels of the lake to stay much more full than they would be in any other dry years. So that certainly will be very, very advantageous. Whilst I'm here, I also just want to take a quick moment just to talk about the fairways. Fairways are looking like they're in fantastic condition. They've greened up really lovely. They're striping, they're looking nice and thick. What we are looking to do in the coming weeks, we're waiting for the right time of year for it, but we will be going down with the annual treatment, guys, to control the worms as always. This is a very, very expensive treatment for us. We used to be able to do this for about £600 for the entire golf course. It's now costing north of £12,000 to carry this treatment out, but I feel it's so important to the winter playability to stop those worms coming up and casting on the surface and bringing that mud up. It allows us to cut longer, it allows buggies to be out longer, and it allows better walking, less mud sticking to your shoes, etc. And so we'll be going down again with that. I feel it's a very, very good commitment and a necessary commitment that the golf club makes. It's paying dividends and dividends as we keep those worm populations down. So big thumbs up there. We're waiting for those conditions to be right. That's likely to be early October time when the worms start really coming up and casting, and it needs to go down when we've got monsoon coming. We need the rain to really wash that product down into the surface for us. So we'll wait for the right time in October, but be aware of greenkeepers spraying and looking after the fairways to keep them tip top year round for you guys. Right guys, I just wanted to finish by saying thank you so much for your support this summer. It's been a fantastic year for everybody on the golf course. The golf team's loved working with you guys, so please stay positive, stay with the golf club as we keep moving forward. I hope you enjoy the autumn update, I hope you find it interesting, and look forward to my next one, which will be a winter update at some point when the ground and the weather conditions allow me to do it.